Lucius is its lead vocals. Singers Jess Wolfe and Holly Lasig sing in unison as frequently as in harmony, creating an urgency and emphasis on whatever idea, emotion, or thought the band is trying to get across. Sometimes that goal is simply to convey what it's like to feel like a kid again, as they do on a quick, peppery ode to adolescence called Born Again Teen.
It's a feeling like a born again teen, got a heartbeat like we're only 16.
Wolfe and Lasik met as students at the Berklee College of Music and formed Lucius, moving to Brooklyn. The music is a magpie mix of styles and pop music periods: 60s girl group, 70s disco, 80s electro-pop, with the occasional florid ballad that would not sound out of place emerging from the throat of a contestant on American Idol or The Voice. In other words, Lucius's music could have been excessive and derivative. But on the strength of tightly stitched melodies, an occasionally striking image, and those surging voices, it is more often lovely, well-crafted stuff.
Don't know how to start this, no, I don't know what to say. It seemed to fall out of the sky, lost and found is all it's sleep. Try to think of my heart as an ocean with this room enough for things to come out to the top. I'm counting on it sinking down again.
There's a certain sameness to Lucius's subject material, which tends toward the post-breakup, why did we treat each other so badly mood. But I frankly don't much care about the meanings of the words when there's so much being communicated in the music and the tone of the vocals. Listen to this song, What We Have to Change. It's built around a chorus that would not be out of place in a gospel context or forming the architecture of a soul music single. It features Wolfe and Lasik singing as one, as they climb a mountain of melody, a mountain of romantic challenges, carrying the implication that there ain't no mountain high enough to keep them from getting to you.
Don't want to talk to you today. Don't want to play the games you want to play. I love you, baby, but I just don't know what we have to do to change. Leaving you has crossed my mind. I'm afraid another heart is all you find. I love you, baby, but I don't know why I love, why it's falling so behind. Find me a mountain or any Grand Canyons. Just find us and leave me when I'm free with you. I'm climbing a tower, take any great notion. Just find us in motion, it's swimming too. Anyway, if we don't find me, I have to get over you.
Lucius has attracted quite a range of fans. New York Times columnist Paul Krugman has put aside his thoughts on the economy to write about his fan crush on Lucius more than once. And Lucius appeared on stage alongside Pink Floyd's Roger Waters at the 2015 Newport Folk Festival. The album Good Grief was co-produced by Bob Ezrin, who's produced famous albums for Pink Floyd, Kiss, and Alice Cooper. The songs frequently have a big sound, but they remain scaled to the proportions of the vocals. The result isn't a series of pretty showcases, but rather opportunities for them to blast past the instrumentation.
Here we are, thought you'd have to rescue me, but thankfully didn't get the best of me. It's not worth the buzz, it's not worth my time. I could lose it, but I'd be out of line. So here we are, on the side of the road, with the sun is out, and in my load, just like a tyrant.
I have emphasized the two vocalists in Lucius. They are very much the focal point of the group. The two women are credited with writing all the songs on this album, and they also tend to dress alike on stage. But Lucius is a band, a tight band, and a very crafty group. The album title, Good Grief, has a certain literalness. Even when lamenting love lost, gone, or destroyed, mourning over it can be healthy if done the Lucius way. Romantic grief can be powerful, renewing. Good grief.
Ken Tucker is critic at large for Yahoo TV. He reviewed Good Grief, the new album from the band Lucius. Coming up, the stars of the new Netflix comedy series Love, Paul Rust and Gillian Jacobs. This is Fresh Air.
WNYC received support from Blackbird, a new play starring Jeff Daniels and Michelle Williams, now on Broadway at the Belasco Theater for a limited engagement. Tickets and more information available at blackbirdbroadway.com.
Coming up at 3 on WNYC, John Hockenberry and The Takeaway on 93.9 FM and on AM 820, It's the World.
Support for NPR comes from NPR member stations and from Constant Contact, with live coaching, email marketing features such as drag and drop editing, and social media tools. Constant Contact is committed to helping small businesses and nonprofits become marketers. More at ConstantContact.com. And from Curious.com, committed to helping people build their CQ, or Curious Quotient, through the game of lifelong learning. Curious, where people can learn something new every day. At Curious.com/NPR.
This is Fresh Air. I'm Terry Gross. Our guests, Gillian Jacobs and Paul Rust, star in the new Netflix comedy series Love, as two people who are trying to figure out if they want to start a relationship with each other. The series was co-created by Judd Apatow, Paul Rust, and Rust's wife, Leslie Arfin, who also wrote for HBO's Girls. Gillian Jacobs is perhaps best known for her role as Britta on the TV series Community. She was also a guest star on Girls. Paul Rust has written for Arrested Development and comedy Bang Bang. He's acted in several films, including Inglourious Basterds and I Love You, Beth Cooper. Gillian Jacobs and Paul Rust spoke with Fresh Air producer Anne-Marie Baldonado. Let's start with a scene from Love. Paul Rust plays Gus, a somewhat geeky, aspiring TV writer. Gillian Jacobs plays Mickey, a producer for a self-help satellite radio show. She lives a somewhat wilder life than Gus does. Both of them have just gotten out of bad relationships. After a chance meeting, Mickey and Gus spend the day driving around Los Angeles getting to know each other. They stop at Gus's ex-girlfriend's house and pick up boxes of his stuff. Mickey is driving while Gus looks through his box of DVDs and Blu-rays. He soon starts throwing them out the window in disgust.
So I just keep believing in this lie that a relationship evolves and gets better, and it's like, why do I believe that? Where do these lies come from? And it's like, oh, I know, songs and books and, movies. All these movies I've watched, they're not real. They're lies. They're lies like me and Natalie were lies. It's like, what am I doing with these? Pleasantville?
Ugh.
It's like, you, Pleasantville.
Whoa! Yeah!
Oh, I shouldn't have.
No, I like it. Do it again.
Pretty Woman? Pretty Woman is such a lie. Like, a prostitute wouldn't fall in love with you. She would just, steal your and sell it for coke.
Yeah, do it. Go
Oh my
get
God,
him,
this feels
Tiger.
Sweet Home Alabama?
Ugh.
Lies? What women want?
Ugh.
Lies? When Harry Met Sally? Lies? Homeland Season 3?
Very confusing.
Yeah, like she could ever just sneak into Iran. It's like, all these Blu-rays have been weighing me down, get it out of my life.
Gillian Jacobs and Paul Rust, welcome to Fresh Air.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Now, in that scene, both characters are blaming what they've seen in pop culture for their bad luck in relationships. What kind of pop culture did you both watch when you were growing up that you feel influenced, at least early on, what you thought about adult relationships and love?
I watched a lot of Katharine Hepburn, Cary Grant movies, so maybe I was anticipating more witty banter than I've actually experienced in real life.
For me, early on, I guess I watched just a lot of bad TV. You know, I would love to be able to say Cary Grant, but it was probably more like Tony Danza.
Now, you really slow this story down, the two characters meeting and becoming involved in each other's lives. Judd Apatow, who's one of the executive producers on the show, has said it took 5 episodes to do what would usually happen in the first 5 minutes of a pilot, because you all found the details of that really fascinating. What is it that you wanted to make time for? What do you get by spreading it out over those 10 episodes?
Yeah, I think us knowing also that we sort of had these 2 seasons and 22 episodes ahead of us meant we had the luxury to slow it down. And, you know, I think maybe what was gained by that was sort of our feeling that usually when 2 people start a relationship, it's rarely easy. And a lot of times either somebody's still hung up about an ex, or there's stuff going on at work that just makes it more difficult to be open and available to starting a relationship with somebody. And it was just really exciting to see how patient we could be and see how, you could do an entire episode just about the agony of sending out a text at 9 a.m. and not hearing back from it until 8 p.m. So a lot of those sort of like misconnections and fumbling towards 5 seconds of happiness, I think is appealing to us.
Gus and Mickey go out on kind of their first official date, and Gus takes Mickey to, I'm sorry, what is it? The Magic Castle.
The Magic
To the Magic Castle. So it comes out that that Gus is very interested in magic, and Mickey is not. And I guess it's something that I think is interesting about the show. Often people in college or in their 20s, they kind of use sensibility or the things that you're interested in, whether it's movies or music, as a way to sort of find partners. And I think one thing that happens with Mickey and Gus is they're kind of in different social spheres, and they kind of think different things are interesting. So in this example, Gus is into magic, and Mickey isn't.
Yeah, I think that in high school and college and in your early 20s, you really look to those signposts of taste as things that make a good match. And I've certainly for my own life come to value much different things in people as I've gotten older and what makes them a good partner or a good friend.
Yeah, and I remember a couple years ago talking with a friend, and he was saying, you know, he didn't know if this woman he was seeing was right for him because they didn't like the same things. And we're saying, like, what are you, in the 7th grade? Like, it does seem like a weird reason to, I mean, certainly shared sensibilities are nice, but you know, somebody doesn't have to like Three Amigos in order for me to like them. I mean, it helps, but...
Now, Gus, Paul's character, works as an on-set teacher for an hour-long drama about witches called Wichita. But he's an aspiring writer, too, and we actually get to see the inside of a writer's room, which, to me, is something very fascinating, the TV writer's room. Now, you, Paul, have worked on TV shows like Comedy Bang Bang, Human Giant, even the Netflix season of Arrested Development. Your wife, Leslie Arfin, wrote for Girls, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and I'm not sure if any of you wrote for shows like Wichita or one-hour shows, but why did you want to feature that kind of writer's room as opposed to maybe a more comedy one?
I think because, none of us have worked in a drama writer's room. It sort of fascinated us to put it there. And maybe also there's something funny about seeing people care so deeply about an hour-long supernatural drama that was funny to us. I mean, I always was curious what a writer's room is like for a drama, because when you're in a writer's room for a comedy, you can make a joke and everybody laughs, and if everybody laughs, you know, oh, it's effective. I always wondered, like, what a writer's room for dramas like, if somebody's like, and then the son comes in and tells his dad he loves him, and then everybody in the room, and their eyes fill up with tears. They're like, yeah, that's good. And then what if the dad tells the son he loves him too? And then you just have a room of crying people, and then you know it's working. So yeah, and I think also we were already doing enough navel gazing. We don't have to make it a comedy writer's room either. We could try to move it just 2 notches away and make it a supernatural drama.
We're listening to the interview Fresh Air producer Anne-Marie Baldonado recorded with Paul Rust and Gillian Jacobs, who star in the new Netflix comedy series Love.